Hello, everybody. This is Reagan Adams with All Things Reagan. Thank you for joining me tonight. I have some special guests. I'm going to let them introduce themselves because I always jack up everybody that comes on, and I don't want to do that. So I want them to introduce themselves, and then I'm going to tell you why I have them on here. So, guys, welcome and
Well, thank
introduce
you for having
yourselves.
us.
Hi.
You can introduce yourself first. I'll let you go first.
Okay. Well,
All Things Reagan.
let's say, what can I say about me? Or how can I introduce myself? I am Serena Holloway. I am married to him. Nah, I'm married to my husband. We've been married for 28 years. I am a certified life coach. I have my bachelor's in psychology. I do premarital and marriage counseling. I am a grandmother. I'm a mother of 5, a grandmother of 9. Um, and so that's about it. And I do social media ministry. That's where my ministry is, on social media. That's where majority of you all will see me at. I do Bible study, social media Bible study on Wednesdays. And then I do Sunday morning messages on Sunday mornings at 8:30. I have a ministry called Can We Talk About It Live, where I talk about things that there are others that are afraid to talk about. And then I'm a part of a group called the Graceful Five, which we do Saturday talks on every third Saturday of the month. But that's about a little bit about myself.
Okay.
Hey, man. And my name is Chris.
My name is Chris.
Is that
Everything she does, I share in. So y'all know all our kids, families, marriage, life. But my name is Chris. I'm a pastor, or well, I'm a pastor still. Uh,
That's
but
why
I
I
had
said I'm
pastored
going
for
to let you
15 years.
introduce
We in
yourself.
transition. Let me put it that
Yes.
way.
All right. So, I brought them on today. First of all, they are my family.
Yes.
And, and so I remember I talked to you guys. If you watched my live earlier, I say I don't fool with a lot of my father's side of the family. It's probably 2. These are the 2. Okay. And so I'm excited to have them. They have been on a walk with me for a very long time. And I'm very appreciative of both of them. And so they recently, how long? Okay. They recently left Knoxville. It's been under a year, right? Or has it been a year?
We left Knoxville March the 7th.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's been almost a year. And so I needed a blueprint, and they went before me, and I talked to them a lot while I was in transition because I didn't really tell anybody, but I trusted them because they really didn't either. So I wanted to have them on the show because after I moved, I noticed that a lot of people were calling me to say they want to move, but they are married couples. And one thing I do not do is, because I'm not married, I don't give out marital anything. I don't need God giving me a pow pow. So I said, I called Chris. I said, have you guys talked about, your actual journey, like leaving Knoxville? And he said, no. I said, I want to interview you guys because there are people, specifically married couples,
Mhm.
who want to know your story, or they need to know your story. And so, help them give a blueprint. So if you would, I guess whoever wants to start, just share how you got the notion to leave Knoxville.
Well, let me start out by saying this first. And I think one of the most important things that we need to understand and recognize is the fact that everybody's story may not necessarily be the same, but the principles of a story or the foundation of a story, the blueprint can match. And I think that with me, um, I was born and raised in Knoxville. So all of my family is in Knoxville. I never resided outside of Knoxville. And honestly, I never had any intentions of even leaving Knoxville. my wife, she's from Baltimore, Maryland, but she's been in Knoxville probably
33 years.
I think I know that. She's been in Knoxville about 33 years. And so for her, it was easy to just move, because she done been to several states, a couple of states, different cities. And so it was easy for her. But for me, the transition wasn't so easy. I think that what I did was, because I'm a man of faith, and I've never been one to just move because somebody says something or even prophecies that come. It hasn't settled within my own spirit. And so I've never been that type of person who would just up and just do something without me knowing that it was God. But long story short, I had a dream. I ain't gonna say it was a dream. God woke me up out of my sleep.
Mm-hmm.
God woke me up out of my sleep back in October or November of last year.
It was October.
October of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing was God woke me up out of my sleep because I had just got my realtor's license. I didn't even know why I got my realtor's license. And I told my wife, I said, the Lord told us it's time to sell the church. I said, I don't know what he's getting ready to do. I said, but it's time to sell the church. The testimony out of that, I had carpal tunnel real bad. So that year I was out of work. So I had free time at home while I was healing. And I did my real estate license in a matter of 3 months. That was from the school all the way to my state licenses, finding a realtor, going on with Keller Williams. I did all of that within 3 months.
Wow.
And so I was just burning the midnight oil. Didn't know that when we was going to sell the church, I was able to sell the church and keep the commission. Ain't God good?
Yeah.
But he woke me up in October, and I told my wife, I said, I don't know what God is getting ready to do, that we need to sell the church. And probably a couple of weeks after that, my wife had already been packing for like 2 years.
Since 2018.
Yeah, so 2018, she had a dream or vision or epiphany or whatever you want to call it. And God told her to start packing and start packing and start packing. But I finally, maybe 2 weeks after the Lord told me that, around about the first week of November, God woke me up again in the middle of the night. And I told my wife, I said, I think it's time for us to leave Knoxville. And she got happy from there.
I know she was like.
And we didn't know where we was going to settle at, because we had, for a whole year, we was coming to South Carolina doing ministry because of there was only 2 people in this city that we knew as far as churches were. But we moved somewhere, didn't know nobody.
Right.
And God settled Columbia in our spirit and said, this is where we need to go. We came to the city and it just felt like home. And so that's how it began, with me just telling my wife it was time. After that, everything just started going real quick.
So when I have a question, and I have kind of like the same story about Houston when I say it felt like home. So what about it can you explain felt like home when you got there and visited?
I don't know. It's like it was that spirit. You just had that spirit time. It just felt right. I mean, I don't know if it's explainable. It just
because I can never explain it. That's why I was like, well, maybe he can shed a little light on how it felt.
I don't know. It just felt right. And I mean, as soon as I said yes, everything fell into place. And we'll get into it, I guess, a little bit down the road but it just felt right. We was coming up here for almost about a year or so. Maybe, no, I say about 6 months. We was coming back and forth, doing outreach stuff, feeding the homeless and doing stuff like that. And it just felt right. I don't know no other way to explain it.
I think when we first came in, when we first came to Columbia, it was in 2014. Yeah. It was in 2014 when the Lord had instructed Bishop to start a ministry here in Columbia, South Carolina.
I was doing a crusade. That's all it was doing.
Right. We were doing a crusade, and we was looking for ministries where we can set up and just do ministry and outreach. And so what happened was when divine worship really started growing, we had to pull back from Columbia and give all of the time and attention to Divine Worship Christian Center. So I think that in reality, I believe that God wanted us to move around that time. And so, because we have to understand that when I moved to Knoxville, I wasn't supposed to stay. I came to Knoxville to pick up my children from their dad, and I was heading back to Hollywood, California, where I was living, and I was settled. I had already been there 2 years. And so my aunt had gotten sick. And so she was like, just stay here with me. And then I was just like, but I don't want to do that. And so my aunt was very, she was in church. She, had a relationship with the Lord. And so she was like, I just believe that this is where you need to be for a minute. Right. And so I decided to stay. So I was in Knoxville with nothing. And I had moved here in, DeAndre was born in June, July. So I moved here in September. Well, I moved to Knoxville in September of 1990.
But you was used to moving.
So, I had been to Atlanta. That's where I was living before I came to Knoxville. And I had been to Kansas, and I had been to, I've been just about, my mom's an Army, she's a veteran. So when she moved, we moved. So I was used to, moving, but I'm trying to bring us into perspective of how God moves in your life when you really yourself don't even know how or what's happening in your life.
Well, and
so right. And so when I got here in 1990, and then I moved on my own in 1992, and then I met him in 1993, and then we got married in 1994. And then my aunt passed in 2011. I was like, she's gone now. It's time for us to leave.
Right.
And so he was like, I don't feel that in my spirit. God has not told me that. So we're not leaving. So stop bothering me about it. But I continued to nag him about it. I continued to, that's why I'm bringing up to now where we are, to where your question is, when you're married, and then people are wanting to leave and the other spouse is not ready, whether it's the husband or the wife. What God had to show me was, or what he actually spoke to me and said, he's not going to give you a yes. He has to give me a yes. So just sit still, be quiet, and just continue to move when I tell you to move. And so I was like, well, dang God, if he ain't giving me a yes, he ain't going to give you a yes. But I'm going to trust you. Yeah. And I did. I had to stop badgering him. I had to stop, making him realize that our time in Knoxville was only supposed to be like a short moment. So,
but I think also, and before you ask your next question though, I think that the whole thing around it all is all about faith. It's about faith, because we moved to a place where we knew nobody, didn't know the city, didn't know nothing. When we came this way in March of this year, because I made the decision and said, okay, God, I'm gonna follow you. This was in November. At that time, I told God, I said, God, I can't go to the Carolinas and not have a job. I gotta have a job. And so I told my wife, I said, if the Lord lines up the job, we gone.
Okay.
And this is the gospel truth. And in December, something told me, I ain't gonna say something, it was the spirit now, and I know it was God. Said, call the place that I worked for in Knoxville. And I went online and I noticed they had one position in the city that was available. And I called the district manager. I put the application in. I put the application in on a Monday. Now, normally this place takes about 2 weeks for you to even get an interview through that process. I put the application on that Monday. HR called me Monday afternoon.
Wow.
Monday evening, I was talking to the district manager. I had an interview set up for that Friday. I told him, I said I was going to be up this way anyway doing outreach. had the interview on that Friday, got my welcome letter on that Monday.
That's crazy.
And I'm doing the same position that I was doing in Knoxville, and God doubled my salary.
And he gave a promotion.
And got a promotion.
Yeah.
With doing less work.
That's a blessing. And I had, one of the people asked me, like, if we do move, like, am I going to lose my money? Like, am I going to take a pay cut? And what I was thinking, it has to be some kind of grid or some kind of statistics that show Knoxville has got to be on a lower paying scale. It has to be. Like, even if I wanted to, like, there are plenty of jobs doing what I do here. Like, I can go and work for the state tomorrow, but they pay at least $25,000 more. And that's coming in as an entry level. I've been there 15 years, so I would probably be a lot higher than that, but I'm not supposed to be working right now. So it's like the fear of the unknown. Like you said, it's faith. And, what if? But if God told you to go, he's going to provide for you, and then when you're over in your promised land, he just meets you at your need. And I can definitely attest to that.
We moved here, Reagan, and didn't even have a place to stay. I got the job. I was supposed to start the job on a Tuesday, which was March the 8th. And I told my wife, I said, we don't start this ball rolling. We ain't stopping.
Right.
We came here and didn't even have a place to stay. Little did we know, we was up here doing outreach and was putting some door handles on the apartment complexes that we were just going around. Little did we know that the apartment complex that we was hanging door hangers up. We talked, we looked, and we said, hey, we'd like to live here. And we looked at each other and we said, you know what? Yeah. If we move here, we're going to move here. Didn't know that we was putting word into action.
Right.
And guess what? On March the 7th, because see, we were staying with two people here, friends of ours here in Columbia. They was allowing us to stay with them over the weekend. And they said, well, if you get the job, you can stay with us until you get settled. I'm not being funny. I'm just the type of person, I like my own space.
Yeah.
I don't like staying with people,
Yeah.
And so we had, on March the 7th, we had packed up everything. And no, we didn't pack up everything. I got enough clothes for the week, and we was gonna go back and travel back and forth every weekend. On that Monday, we packed our stuff up, we headed out, and was on our way to Columbia. And my wife got an email that said, congratulations, where do I need to send a welcome pack? We literally was coming through the mountains when she got that email. And they was like, well, can you be here today before 6 o'clock? And I promise you, on the road,
right,
we signed our lease, set up our utilities, set up our cable, set up our insurance. We did everything we had to do within that 2 hours left of driving. And we hit the office, the leasing office, about 5:45, 5:50, 10 minutes before 6. Signed the lease and got the keys. And I think that night we slept in the apartment on the floor. And we didn't even have a place to stay. But even in that, I was telling my wife, I said, because we stepped out of fear, I think sometimes we pay too much attention.
Stepped out of faith.
Stepped out in faith. Thank you. Because we stepped out in faith, we demolished fear. And sometimes people won't step out in faith because they get fearful because they need more information about a destination. And God ain't going to always tell you a destination, but he'll put you in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I said, this is us. We're in our Abraham season. I don't know where we're going. All I know is God told Abraham, get your son and go. He said, where are we going? He said, I'll show you when you get there. A lot of times you're not going to know anything until you get there.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened with us. God set us up with the apartment. He set us up with my job and the kids. Prayers have been answered. Jacob struggled so bad with school in Knoxville to where he hated it. Yeah. Jacob, first day of high school here, this boy can't wait to get to school.
Now, he was in his last 3 months of his 8th grade year.
Yeah, here.
And within his last 3 months of 8th grade year, he had grew so tremendously. He even got a a certificate in
as most improved.
Most improvement.
Wow.
And he's
in those 3 months. And he loved going to school. Now he really loves going to school.
But
here in his high school year. And so, yeah.
But it was a faith thing. And I'm saying this, I'm gonna let you go to your next question, but because I know that people have been asking us and they didn't believe it, stuff like that. And I'm at this point now where I tell my wife, I'm not bragging, but yes, I am boasting on God.
Right.
Because we are seeing some stuff that we've really never seen before. We are now living or going towards living our promised lifestyle that God said it was for us. We never stayed in a gated community before, never thought that we would.
Right.
But God, and it was favor of how God did it, because the people that, and I don't have bad credit or nothing like that. I don't. But the people that got us in here said, yeah, we got to get you in here. When we moved in, the flyer that we put on the door, the lady who rented us the apartment saw it, but she left it on the counter for us, like, y'all supposed to be here.
Right.
And so, it just worked out.
I like how you used Abraham and that story, because I went back and, reread it. And I've seen myself as Abram's wife. I just followed, as he was following God, I follow him as he follows the Lord.
And so the reason why I said everybody's story is different, because in your case, Reagan, like, you're not married, but you still had to step out on faith. With us, we're married. And I tell married couples this: when the man gets in line with God, everything about that household will change.
Yeah.
And that my yes, everything just started happening. I mean, he put us on a fast track, and we're still, as they say, living our best life. But this ain't my best life, but my best life is coming.
Right. And everything, and everything was stored. Everything was stored up. And I think the reason why it happened so fast the way that it did is because God had already had it prepared. And as soon as, Chris was like, it's time to move. God, it's like the heaven gates just opened, and everything that we needed was provided. We didn't have to go out here and borrow anything. We didn't have to make anything happen. Financially, everything was provided by God. He was definitely our Jehovah Jireh in this season, and he's still doing
it. I think you guys will attest that because of the type of season it is, God wouldn't let just anybody help you. Because if they did, they would have taken the credit for it. Mm-hmm. And I was put in a position where when I was applying for a house, but God was like, I don't want you in a house. But I've lived in a house forever. But he was like, no, I need you in an apartment, because you're not going to be there long. So don't go in trying to get comfortable. I just, And so it was kind of blocked with the house. But when I got to the apartment, everything went. And so also kind of piggybacking on what you were saying earlier about a faith walk and God not really revealing the steps. He doesn't reveal until you start walking. I'm going to be honest. Like, you want to know, and I'm one of those ones, listen, with support. You can ask my friends. I'm the planner. I want to know everything from A to B. And God was like, yeah, you're not doing any of that this season. You can't put your hands on it. You can't dictate anything. There's nothing. And so all you're supposed to do is start. So with Rainey, I remember you saying you started cleaning and getting things together. That was my first sign. Reagan, start cleaning, start getting your credit together, start doing, getting your paperwork together. You're going to need these things. And as I did that, Chris is being very docile, so he has a prophetic gift. Okay, so y'all know I don't fool with just anybody. Okay, I talk about that all the time, and I don't let just anybody speak into my life. I don't listen to just anybody. I can count on one hand. Okay, and as I was cleaning and doing things, and we had just come out of women's conference, because God had already told me, okay, Reagan, something big is going to happen, because I physically felt it, but I didn't know what it was. But I was just being obedient and cleaning and doing, what God told me to do. And then God said, get on Facebook. And the first person I saw was Chris. So I was like, okay, he's going to go on live. Let me check out his live. God said, stay there and don't move. Like, listen to the whole live. Don't get out. So Chris was going on. I was like, okay, yeah, this is good. Woo. And then he was like, hey, Reagan, are you still on here? And I was like, okay, what's going on? Because he said he about to start prophesying. And let me tell you about me. I not even just for myself, because I haven't gotten a lot of like prophetic, what is it? Prophetic. People haven't given me a lot of prophetic, what is it called?
Words and stuff like that.
I haven't gotten it. And so when he called my name, I was like, what are you going to say? And so he was like, you've been praying to God about where you're supposed to go. And I was like, yes. And I knew it was God because I hadn't told anybody, because I didn't even know. Like I was having dreams like the week before that I was on airplanes, I was on jets, and whatever it was like a quick mode of transportation. And so when Chris was like, you've been asking God, where are you supposed to go? And he said, I see your name basically getting kicked around in like the major parts of Texas. And then I got excited because what Chris didn't know is I've always wanted to go to Houston since 2019. Wow. But I couldn't go because Boo was here, and, with Kennedy, like it was just a lot. So I was just like, I felt held up. But when he died, it was like, I don't really have anything holding me back. My mama's married. So, so Chris was like, yeah, you're supposed to go to Texas. He said, I don't know what it is, but you're supposed to go to Texas. So I was like, okay. So when I get off the live, I'm going to ask God like to confirm, because he could be meaning Dallas or Austin. Like, I need to know exactly where. So you went on with your live and you came back and you said, Reagan, I don't know what it is. He said, but you got to get to Texas. Like, it's whatever it is, it's in Texas. And your husband is not in Knoxville. That was another thing that I had not talked about, because God had been showing me dreams about my husband too, and that I went to him somewhere else. So I was like, oh, I know this is God. So when we got off the live, I prayed then, but then the next day I said, Lord, I said, Lord, I want to go to Houston. I said, but you tell me where you want me to go. And I said, Lord, am I going to Houston? Do you want me in Houston? As soon as I looked up, I saw a car with the Texas tags pass by me.
Wow.
And so most of the time, that's how God spoke to me when he was telling me like yes or no, or he was confirming something. It was mostly a Texas tag. So Chris, you really helped me. And I had to call Renee, and I don't know if she told you, I was like 4 months to the day that you prophesied that word was the day I was here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it happened very fast. Like once I started doing what I was supposed to do, God let you release the place. And then it was go time then, because I didn't know where I was going.
Wow. And you know what, though, Reagan? And the truth of the matter is this. It goes back to what Serena just said. It was already prepared. It was already predestined. Sometimes God is just waiting on us to catch up with his promise that's already been prepared in the spirit realm. Yeah. And it takes faith to get there. But once you say yes and you get to that place, it start moving quickly. And so what happens is a lot of times fear resides in the unfamiliar. Yep. Okay. And what I mean by that is this: as long as we're comfortable when we are in control. We can control it. Mm-hmm. But what do you do when faith calls you out of that place of comfortability? Because see, fear can't live in the place of faith. Faith and fear can't dwell together. And so when you can get to the place to where you can say, hey, you know what? It may be strange to me. It may be foreign to me. But that's where your faith is. Faith don't live in the place of familiarity. Faith, because if you're familiar with something, don't take faith.
Yeah, that's true. You don't need God. Like, and I talked about that earlier with like my DoorDash story. And I was like, okay, God had shown me like it was like a step of faith. Okay, I'm not familiar with the city, so let me just go. He told me just to go. And I was like, Lord, where I'm going? I don't know where I'm going. Just turn on DoorDash and I'm going to show you. And that's basically what he did. But in the midst of me DoorDashing, I was like, Lord, I'm not making the money I was making. So I'm thinking like, wait a minute. What's going on? But then he put in remembrance of, remember Crystal said, about Uber, it's other apps. And I said, well, let me turn on Uber. Then I got discouraged because I missed the order up. And I was like, I ain't doing this. But I was like, oh, wait a minute. I ain't got no choice because I got to have some money now. And you told me don't work like a secular job. So I'm like, okay, Lord. And he said, just get back on there and see. And listen to me. Listen to me. He told me right then, what worked in Knoxville is not going to work here. It's not going. Everything is going to be different. What you thought you were doing, erase it. This is a new, fresh start. I'm doing a new thing. That's all he kept saying. New, it's new. You can't come in here doing this same stuff because I'm about to do something else. So I was like, okay. And I'm literally working. Listen, I thought DoorDash was something. I'm gonna be honest. I was tooting on DoorDash. Okay, listen to me. I am not working any more than 4 hours a day, if that. Did you hear what I said?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm making what I was making in 2 days in 1 day. Did you hear what I said?
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a new thing. Yes. I ain't gotta know. I be like, Jesus, that's okay. I ain't even gotta know. I don't gotta know. Do your thing, sir. Just do what you're gonna do. Because if I put my hands on it, I'ma jack it up. So just tell me where to go and I'ma go. And I don't, God also showed me, which I talked about this. There's an open door right now for people where he's calling them to go and do, and people aren't going. It's like he showed me two sides, like a bus on one side and then another bus on the other side. And then there was a middle, and everybody was getting on the right side of the bus. And he showed me like everybody at their jobs complaining about their jobs, but talking about their dreams and their gifts and their callings. Oh, I wish I could do this. And oh, I wish I could do that. But God had presented you an opportunity over here. And because of that middle part looked unknown, nobody was going. They were just continuing to go to the jobs that they hate and talk about what they could have, should have, would have done. But I'm telling you, it's a transition season. And the door is open and nobody's open. And it's very frustrating because it's like when I see something, I tell it, and it's like, Lord, why they not going?
Mm-hmm.
It's frustrating.
But you know what? But Reagan, they have to. And I'm trying to stay a guest.
Man, now you be you. That's what we do. We be us. Right?
But I say this because this is what I'm feeling from whomever may be watching. That's the reason why it seems like there's frustration in your home, because the enemy is taking over familiar territory. And you named this exactly what I've been saying. You said it, and because it's the truth for me. God literally kicked us out of Knoxville. When I say kicked us out, everything, and I love my family, everything all the way down to, because I put little signs in the atmosphere with God. Because, we try to test God,
Yeah.
God, if it's you, show me this. If this is you, then
yeah.
And so there was only a couple of people that I was really worried about if we was to leave Knoxville. Yeah. And I said, God, if this is you, then you are settling in their spirit. And one of them was my mother. And so when I got to talk to my mother about it, what was going on, what we were planning on doing about the church and moving, she said, listen, I don't want my son to go. She said, but I know this is God, and you need to get up out of here. And when she said that, I'm like, what? Oh, baby, that's it. We go, Everything else didn't matter,
Right,
so
right.
Those was telltale signs, but I know without a shadow of a doubt, there's some of you all right here that's watching or either going to watch this replay. And I'm not saying this in a bad way, so please don't take this the wrong way. But you got to pay attention when people start fleeing a certain city. When they start fleeing the city, you got to know something is coming. And God is giving you all kind of warnings and giving you, and see, here's the thing. we don't pay attention to the signs and the clues because we discount that because we're not familiar with it. But listen to what I'm telling you. Betrayal always leaves clues. And so sometimes God will make you go through some of the hardest. You may feel like you're going through some of the hardest times of your life. And I'm not talking about as far as like danger or something like that. I'm talking mental. Mm-hmm. Some of y'all right now is going through some of the hardest times of your life mentally. And you don't even have peace in your own home because God is kicking you out of where you are. And when he kick you out of where you are, he's trying to put you on a destination to where you would just follow him. And when you say yes to faith, everything that God promised you, and the Lord spoke this to me, and I'm telling you, and I listen to you, Reagan. I do. You listen. I've been listening to you. When you're talking about them homes you was driving by, oh, I went through a neighborhood today. I was like, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So I done started dashing too. I picked it back up because I'm like, okay, so this must be the season for it. And you know what I did? Last week I dashed not even 8 hours for the whole week and made enough to pay off a credit card because God is preparing us to get this house. Yep. Come March. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be obedient. I really want to say something to somebody, but I'm not. I'm gonna do it off. I'm gonna do it off of this.
Okay, Lord, please.
Listen.
Let him have his way. Let him have his way. Okay.
Listen. Sometimes we can get so comfortable with pleasing everybody else that we lose ourselves.
Yes, Lord.
I've been there, done that. And if you're not careful, you done had that season where people done chalked you out of doing what you would have been. I was the last one to talk myself out of what we're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Because at this point, God wants you to move without hesitation. That's the season we in. Yes. That if God speak to you tonight, what time is it? 9:38. If the Lord has spoke to you at 9:38 tonight, he's expecting you to move in that by 9:40 without hesitation.
That's a fact. And then when you say it, it's gonna resolve in your heart quickly. It's gonna be like it's no turning back. Like once I said yes, there was no turning back to say, did I? I don't know. Even when things got shaky, I knew I was still going. God was gonna line it up.
You settled. So I'm really, I might do a live later, but I'm not the host. But
this is your show. This is your show.
I'm telling y'all now. I'm looking to see who's on here. I'm telling you now.
Loose. Look at Randy like.
Because
I'm just listening.
Because I'm telling you, these people need a word. They need a word, and I brought you on here because God spoke to me. I was like, God, they gotta be on here because they just gotta be. There's some people who are going to be watching where God has told them, you got to get out of there. Whether it be Knoxville or anywhere, you gotta go. You gotta go.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this about Knoxville because I don't know, because this is where we come from, and this is probably where a lot of the people that's watching Knoxville. I'm just telling you, I've said this for years and years and years and years and years, probably the last 10, 12 years. I don't know what Knoxville is. I don't know if it's Sodom or Gomorrah. I don't know, but I'm telling you now, the Lord is saying Knoxville is not it for you. I see right now. I see at least 3 more people or couples that's going to be leaving Knoxville that is on this live now. And I'm telling you, God is getting ready to go to your husband. He's going to deal with your husband because God wants your husband to know that he can make more money from where he is now in another city, because sometimes that becomes fearful, because that's where I was, because I was paying all the bills. And I used to tell my wife all the time, I'm not leaving. I'm not moving. I'm comfortable. If something happened, I can take care of it. And so God is trying to interrupt your safe place. You can't be afraid to sell your house and move into an apartment for a year before you get a better house.
I did it. And guess what? Let me put you pause real quick, just right. I'm gonna be 2 seconds. When I did it, I was nervous. I was very nervous to do it because I say that because I didn't want to run through my money. Because I've been in situations where I've had lump sums and just like blew it. And God said, you're not going to do it in this season. You're not. He said, you're not going to, and I haven't. But one thing that I know, when I say I moved and I put my cash app up, listen to me. Listen to me. When I say he been taking care of me and I ain't missed nothing, and he said, I told you, you're not going to make the same mistakes you made. And he said, and I'm going to stretch your money, but then not even stretch it. I'm going to do more where you ain't even going to be thinking about that money.
Listen, I can I call names?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
This is your show. Quit asking permission. Come on.
But let me say this first, Reagan. There is a couple that there is a wife that I talked to. I don't know if she's on here, and I won't call her name out. But you know who I had this conversation with. But he just said what I said to her when he talked about that the word that he just said about your husband is going to go and get that job, is going to pay him more money than where he's at now. That was for the individual you referred me to, because I said those exact same words to her. And I said, you have to wait until God, and he's got to give God a yes, but God has got to show him so that he can give God that yes. Because just because we're ready, we know, because we're all, as women, we're able to prepare. We're able to know something and we want something and we'll go ahead and make it happen. But like you said, when you are married, you got to do it together. Because if you're separated, you're going to be out of order. You got to wait on, because when you do it together, God's going to move you together.
And where there's order, there's no struggle.
That's right. That's good. That's real good. Because I got nervous. I said, Lord, I'm not finna tell these people. No. I said, call Chris and Serena. Because I know I'm not fooling around with this marriage stuff.
Listen, I'm going to say something. And this is the truth. And I'm going to say this because, Lord, help me, Jesus. Your marriage life will be better when you leave Canaan.
Ooh, now that's good. Say that one more time for the people in the back.
Your marriage life will be better when you leave Canaan. Listen, I'm gonna share something with. I might get in trouble. Lord, help me. That's an individual that I met a few years ago, and they used to call me and him twins. And you know, when you are twins with people, there's a little, I don't know what they call it, where you can feel each other and all this other kind of stuff. So even though we're not twins, but you know, they have always been in my spirit, and I've always prayed for them, and they've always been friendly to us as well. But I want to read this real quick, Reagan.
Okay.
And I want those that's watching, that's thinking about leaving whatever city you in for there's nothing wrong with a fresh start. Listen, I'm so happy. I am ecstatic. I haven't been so happy. And there was a moment, listen, last week, there was a moment that me and my wife literally walked down the flames of hell. I mean, I said, wait a minute, hold on. That's an unfamiliar spirit that's trying to cause. And God said, because there's something great about to happen. Understand something, that anything that's getting ready to happen great in that God's going to do for you is not going to come without opposition.
Right.
The greater the opposition, the greater the blessing. The purpose of the opposition is to shake your faith, to get you to talk yourself out of what's about to happen.
Right.
And so in this hour, you can't talk yourself out of it. You have to move without hesitation. But this is the scripture that the Lord woke me up with. And this is why I gave the Lord a yes. And y'all go study it. It's Genesis chapter 12. Study that whole chapter. But Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 says, now the Lord said unto Abraham, get up out of your country and from your family and from your father's house and go to a land that I will show you. And I will make of you a great nation. I will make your name great. in the place that I will take you, and I will bless you there, and I will make your name great there, and thou shalt be a blessing. He said, and I will bless them that bless you, and curse them that curse you. And in thee, all families of the earth shall be blessed. Verse 4 says, 12 and 4 says, so Abraham did what? He departed, as the Lord spoke unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abraham was 75 years old. He was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. Abraham was 75 when God told him, now I need you to leave your family, leave your familiar country, leave the place where you was born, and go to a place that I'm going to show you. See, your blessing is, Lord, help me, Jesus. Edana and Andre, your blessing is not in Knoxville. I'm sorry. It's not. It's not. It's not. Sabrina, your blessing is not where you live. I told another young lady, I'm at this place. I'm tired of just trying to beat around the bush and trying to please everybody. Listen, no, it is what it is. Okay? You take it as you want to take it. But listen, some of you all right now that's debating to leave it, you need to leave because your blessing is not there. God is saying, go to the place that I'm showing you. And the place that God is showing you is going to be the place where you're going to get the most resistance. It's going to be the place where people going to tell you crazy. You that's stupid. Why would you do that? Why would you leave family? Why would you leave loved one? God is saying, because that's where your blessing is. And so what you got to do is make up in your mind that if my blessing is there, then I got to go where my blessing is. I got to leave the land of the familiarity. I got to leave the familiar place, because it's the familiar place that keep getting you in trouble. It's the familiar place that keep you frustrated. And so sometimes you got to get to that isolated place to where you trusted in nobody but you and God. I am telling you, I'm not the one to prophesy to people and tell them that, hey, you need to marry this one, or you need to marry. I don't do that. But I am the one that the Lord put something on my heart for me to tell it, and he tell me to call the name. I ain't dying without telling somebody what the Lord said, because I can't get in trouble for it. So I'm just being honest with you. I'm just telling you. People can say all day long, oh, Chris Holloway told me he did it. Yeah, I am telling you. You better leave. You better get up. And I be not a man of God, Lord help me.
Just keep your eyes on Facebook, because there are quite a few people leaving. Ooh. They're not talking about it. I mean, I've had specific conversations with several people, and they are
because
leaving.
Something is coming to that city. Something is coming to the city, and God always sent angels to spy out the city. See, listen, hear me good. Y'all talking about the whore, but God saved that whore in her house.
Yeah.
Y'all hear what I'm saying to you? Yeah. What was her name? Rahab. See, don't mess around and let God save the one who you thought was supposed to die.
Mm-hmm, that's good.
I'm telling you, he's going to use the one that you think he's supposed to use. I'm telling you, your business will excel when you step out in God.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact, Jack. Man, listen. You own it. You are on it. Because I'm telling you, when you say fresh start, that's what God has been telling me. I'm giving you a fresh start. When I applied for these apartments, he cleared all my debt before I left. I had more money. My student loans were at 71,000. I was making 30,000 less than that. So I was over my capacity of like debt to ratio. So where it went to over 90%, it's now at 5. So it's a season for starting over.
Bishop.
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
Since Edana, she said what?
She said receive, Bishop.
Oh, because I can't see. I can't see nobody. I guess you're
She said she's on. She said she received it.
Lord, please forgive me if I said something out of pocket, but Dana, listen. Lord help me. Lord help me. Lord help me. Okay. All right. I'm gonna leave. I talk to y'all. Tell your husband call me. Inbox me. I give you my phone number. I need to talk to him. Because God is getting ready. God is getting ready. Lord help me. Okay.
I think what has
Lord
to
have
happen.
mercy, Jesus. Y'all. Okay. All right. Next question.
I'm like, what's happening? Tell me, I want to know.
No,
Because I love to see people get
I'm gonna tell you the reason why,
positive.
and I'm gonna let talk. I'm gonna tell you the reason why I'm careful right now because see, in this
Yeah.
season, listen. Let me tell you something. You don't have to move in secret, but move in silence.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Listen, go right there. Go
You
right
you
there.
you, you don't have to move in secret. Everything don't have to be a secret, but you got to move in silence. In other words, when I say move in silence, you got to share very little in what you do. When we moved, I knew it was going to be opposition. I said, and I didn't tell a whole lot of people because I didn't want a whole lot of people coming against us. All
Yes.
I did was, when it was time to leave, all I did was put a picture up with my wife, car, jacked up on the trailer with a U-Haul and said deuces. That's all we did. It was gone. But you don't have to move in secret, but move in silence. But I will say this, Dana, y'all won't be alone. This transition is going to be so easy for you if you decide to make it. You're not going to be alone. You're not going to be alone. So I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm gonna leave it. And I don't know who this Christy is that's done popped up. Christy Scruggs Cullum. I don't know who that is, but listen, God is pulling on a yes for you too. Because there's some things that you got to. Lord help me, Reagan. Please,
Go
please.
ahead. Let loose. Let loose. Please.
Listen, there's some things that the Lord is calling for you to do specifically. Because a lot of things that we do, and a lot of times when we say yes, it's not to save our life. Sometimes our yes is to save the life of somebody that's connected to us. And so listen, all I can say is this must be the night to say yes. Because this is the stirring. This is the stirring that was talked about in the Bible when there's a certain season that the angel of the Lord would come down and trouble the waters. And the first one that would step in the water would be the first one to get healed. But see, that right there dealt with a lot of gimmicks because you're going to have a whole lot of people that's going to be using gimmicks to keep people stagnated. My God. But God said in this season, in this hour, I'm exposing the gimmicks. Lord help me, Jesus. He said, I'm exposing the gimmicks. Hear what I'm saying to you? How are you going to tell me that an angel of the Lord is going to come and trouble the water? The only one that's going to get healed is the one that's going to get in there first. So what that do? That's going to cause everybody to run for gimmicks. And I'm here to tell you right now, who I said her name was Christy. Christy, the Lord told me to tell you that in this season, the season is over for you running and chasing after gimmicks because God is getting ready to show you what's true and what's authentic because you know him for who he really is. But in this season, this hour, you got to understand something. There was one man that didn't go chasing after the troubled water because he said, I had nobody to put me in the pool. I had nobody. In this season, the best time for somebody to move in faith and in God when you feel like you have nobody. Because when you have nobody, your total dependence is upon God and God himself and God alone. I'm telling you, this is the season. We don't know how long this window is going to be open. We don't know how long this door is going to be open. Hear what I'm saying to you, because God is sending people from the north, the south, the east, and the west to speak to people to get you to understand that now is the time. In other words, what I'm trying to tell y'all is this. We do not have time to miss another opportunity. I can't afford to miss another blessing. If it means that I had to let go of some stuff, then I had to let it go. If it means I had to walk away from something that was familiar, then I had to walk away. Because God said in this season, everything that is connected to you is going to be absolutely brand new. Good God Almighty, new relationships, new home, new business. Oh, y'all better hear what I'm saying. New money. Good God Almighty. And see, the problem is we're so used to the old money that we don't know how to handle the new money. And it's not going to come the way that you think that it was going to come. Your yes is going to open up the windows of heaven. That's the reason why I said earlier today when I was talking about no more substitutions. And if God said you're supposed to have a 5-bedroom house, a 3-bedroom, a 3-bath, 5-bedroom fence, whatever you want. If he said that's what he's going to give you because you asked in his name, then don't settle. Because see, the devil is getting ready to try to bring substitutes. Y'all better hear what I'm saying to you. He's getting ready to try to bring substitutes to tell you, well, you can't get this, but we'll let you have that. God said, no, my answers are yay and nay. My answers are yay and amen. Come on, somebody. So there's no substitutions in this hour that God is getting ready to bless you, but it's going to take absolute total faith. And you're going to have to step out. What if Peter would have never stepped out the boat? What if Peter would have kept listening to those folks in that boat? Now, man, that water out there is jumping. There's sharks in that water. There's a storm out there. There's a ghost out there. What if Peter would have never stepped out the boat? If he never would have stepped out the boat, he would have never known that he can walk on water. But he stepped out the boat on one word. He stepped out in faith without hesitation. He just said, Jesus, if that is you, bid me to come. And Jesus said, come. And what did Peter do? He stepped. So I want to tell about 3 or 4 of y'all tonight. Tonight is your night to get the stepping.
That's right. Get the stepping.
Get the stepping. Yeah, it's fearful, but get the stepping. Yes, it don't make no sense, but get the stepping. Yes, you don't know how, but get the stepping.
But I'm telling you, God will give you a peace. That's what I noticed. Once I said yes, I had a peace beyond our understanding. Like I just moved. When I say moved in faith, and even when I was like wanting to get concerned about money, I still had a peace. When I was looking at the apartment in the area that God called me to, I was like, "Ooh, wait a minute, Lord, now I don't know." But He said, "But what did you ask me for?" So this is the reason that when you ask, it shall be like what you were saying the other day. That scripture, it was crazy because I had just read it. I was like, oh Lord, confirmation. But you will have what you say in this season. You will have it. And so that's why you got to be careful. And that's why another reason I think God has us in kind of like not isolation of sorts. Because when you say we can't tell everybody everything, we got to watch what we say and who we are coming into agreement with on certain things. Because right now is a time where it's just like, you gonna have what you say. You say you want this. When I said I wanted this place, and I was like, Lord, I don't know, because this rent's kind of high. You approved. Day one, you're approved. You're approved. And I kept saying, well, I don't know what this look like, but you approved. You approved. I just said you were approved. You will have what you say. I'm going to take care of you. Reagan, you said you want to live in a nice area that has X, Y, and Z, and woo-woo. I'm going to put you right where you asked me to be. And guess what? I'm here. I'm here.
I think also what you have to realize, and I think when Bishop said you have to move in silence, you don't have to move in secret, but you have to move in silence, because I talked about it. And that's why a lot of people, and literally a lot of our friends, hear me, a lot of our friends and people that we know don't believe that the move that we've made is God, is only because I've always talked about leaving Knoxville. I've always talked about this is where we're not supposed to be. I've always talked about it. And when 2018, well, first of all, actually, I'm saying 2018, but just listen, just in 2017, I never forget it. In 2017, I told Bishop, I said, I hear God saying that we need to buy a house. And I really thought I heard it. Like I literally heard that in 2017. Well, later on down in that year, we did start working on it. Well, then 2018, he has a heart attack. He's off work for like 16 weeks.
Wow.
Literally 16 weeks where he could not work, stand, stretch, move, nothing.
That's when I had my bypass surgery.
Right. And I was just like, God, I know I heard you. Like, I know I heard you say buy a house. The house that we saw was in Fountain City. It was what we needed. And the people came, somebody came in and got it and paid more than what they were asking for. So we lost the house. So I'm like, God, I know I heard you. Like, I know. So when he had that quadruple heart bypass, I was like, God, I don't understand. You're going to have to work this thing out for me because I know I heard you. And literally in August of 2018, I got up and I heard God say, I need you to start packing. And so I just started packing. I started taking each room and I started to prepare. And then when 2019 came, and then we was right back on that thing, we started paying off credit cards. We started preparing to start this process again. And then his best friend was looking to do expanding his business, needed some extra help. He made him the commercial for the business and everything. He left fast and all, went to Georgia, was driving there back and forth. So I'm thinking, so he gets there, and all of a sudden, within 6 months, he's no longer able to use his hands. He now had another surgery 4 years later. 3 years. You had it in 2018, 1920. In 2020, so God always works with me in threes. I don't know why, but he just does. So 3 years later, we find ourselves him back not working. And I'm just like, okay, God, I don't work. Hear me. I don't work. So him being off his job, I'm just like, but God made provision. He placed all 5 of our children. Hear me. He placed all 5 of our children to take each one of our bills, and they paid them every month while he was off work. Now, they're not millionaires, but they were able to take care of their parents.
That's good.
So I want to tell people that are literally knowing that God is telling them this. Hear God, yes, but pay attention to the direction. Pay attention to those who you are around. They're not going to believe you. They're not going to believe that it's God. So for me, when God said, I need you to stop talking, I just need you to do what I asked you to do. And that third time that he talked to me in 2020 and 2022, this year, January, I never forget it. He woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning and said, I need you to finish packing. That was in January. In March, we were in Columbia. And he'll tell you, I stayed up all night long and got the rest of that stuff came. Spring break came. All we had to do was pack up the truck, clean the apartment, get the kids. I had the kids taken care of. I had the school taken care of. I took care of everything in 3 days. Everything was done.
And it was effortlessly. I mean,
literally.
When I say no kind of
I never struggled.
It was no struggle.
Same.
I mean, it's like God put us in one of the best, if that's a word, neighborhood. Jacob is in one of the best schools here.
Yeah.
And I mean, everything is convenient. It's just, I'm literally where we moved at. God set this up to where I'm literally, and I didn't know this until we got here.
Yeah.
We was driving. I said, baby, that's my job. I'm literally 5 minutes from my job.
And Jacob's school is 10 minutes from the house. And Serena is about 4 minutes.
Everything
from the house. Everything.
God set us up. Everything concerning our fresh start. He set everything up.
Same.
Without struggle.
And I'm sure you're close to restaurants and things to do.
Yes.
Reagan.
Everything we need, literally. After we got here, she was like, Mama, y'all around everything. Like you can just start here, and whatever you need is like one shot. Like everything is my doctor's appointment, Jacob's doctor's appointment, everything. But there was a hiccup when we got here. During spring break, Knox County schools on spring break. You remember we had Stefan, and he was supposed to go back to his mom's last year in 2021. because we wasn't planning on bringing him with us. So I had got Jacob situated in school and everything. So when Stephon didn't go back, I got a little frustrated. And I tell y'all, if y'all just follow God, hear me. The Lord said, send an email to the principal. He'll receive it and he will reply. And I'm like, but God, they're on spring break. Send the email. He will reply. Reagan, I sent that email and said, I need Stephon's records. I don't know how I can get it. We done moved to Columbia, South Carolina. He has to start school on March 21st. What do I need to do? He said, well, I'll tell you what, I wasn't supposed to be at the school this week, but some things had happened. If you can meet me tomorrow at 12 o'clock, I will give you everything that you need on spring break. And I said, sir, I will be there. I got to the school on time, just like he told me to do. Because that's another thing. When God speaks and people make provisions for you, don't be late. Don't do any of that. Because if God is allowing them to be in place for you, you need to be in place to make sure you receive the order that God has given it to you. Because sometimes you can miss it. But if you just prepare, stay focused, you may get some frustration. You may feel like it's not God, but all of it is God. You have to be patient. You have to prepare. And wives, husbands, that whomever is married and you are making this transition, you must work together. And you're going to get frustrated. You're going to be irritated. You're going to seem like nothing is happening, but allow your husband to lead. And you're praying over him and praying with him, and you're following him as Sarah followed Abraham.
I gotta tell.
I just want to let you all know, if you just follow the plan and be prepared. And I put it in here earlier. What did I say? I said you gotta prepare. What did I say? You got to prepare for preparation to be prepared. Now back it up. Be prepared for the preparation that you're preparing.
Right.
So you got to make sure, if God is saying that by the end of this year, you need to move, that means you can't be lazy. You can't procrastinate. You got to make sure you get everything lined up. So yes, you're not moving in secret, but you're moving in silence, because God will literally prepare and give you everything that you need, but you got to do your part. God ain't going to do the whole thing. He'll give you direction. He'll even provide, but you must do your part.
One thing I saw real quick, and I'm going to let you talk, Chris, is I don't feel like I had a choice not to. God wouldn't let me really rest good. I was like, when I forgot to do my paperwork for my fast, for like to do my work study stuff for my to file to get my stuff forgiven. I forgot. I was like, get up and file your paperwork. Anytime I forgot anything, go get this. Go get these papers. Like, he wouldn't let me rest. It was no rest. I didn't get any rest until I got here. And I'm being for real. Now, what were you going to say?
Wait a minute. But you know what? And you're right. I'm sorry, Bishop. I got it. Listen. You talking about rest? When we was praying, nobody knew this. But for the month of July, we're in September, the month of July, Bishop and I decided to pray and seek God. Because the thing about it is, when we got here, yes, we are doing ministry. We are planning a ministry. But we didn't miss it, but we just assumed that we were supposed to go right into ministry. Like go right in to go into a building, go into this, go into that. But when the outside kept doing stuff, we were like, hold on. We know what God said, but he needed us to rest. Why did he need us to rest? Because we needed to be restored. We needed to be cleansed. We needed to be healed from all the stuff that we had gathered from Knoxville, that we have taken so much from. I'm spit on you, didn't I'm sorry. But I just get excited. But when I look at, I'm telling you, listen, when you get to your destination, you may feel like you gotta go. It's going to be your resting season. And that's why I said you have to prepare financially, you have to prepare mentally, you have to prepare emotionally, you have to prepare spiritually, because when you go to a new area, you can't put old wine in new skin bottles.
That's right.
You can't put the old in with the new. You got to be refreshed. You got to be restored. You got to be cleaned out of some stuff. So there's nothing wrong going and sit up under. Y'all saw my post the other day. I said, it's time for me to sit under and no longer stand over. That means I can no longer be over some stuff. I got to sit under some folk. I got to be poured into. I got to be poured. God's got to pour me out for them to pour into me. You see what I'm saying? Because all this extra. But yeah, I could go longer right there, but I'm going to stay right there.
You sleep really good when you was resting.
Yes.
It's a different kind of sleep.
Best. Oh, we had the best. We had the best
kind of sleep. Like I posted a while ago, I was like, man, I've been taking naps, and I don't take naps. And it's like God had given me a spirit of rest. Like, you can't go, Reagan, you can't go nowhere. Like, go sit down. Go sit down. Okay, go sit down. Every time I try to get up, go sit down. Quit worrying about money. Go sit down. Just go get Kenny and go sit down. And then I'm telling you, I'll be going to bed at 8 o'clock, waking up.
I'm sorry. Shakira,
go ahead.
Listen, Shakira, well, this is my last time. I'm not gonna say anything else. I promise. I ain't gonna promise. I'm gonna zip this up. I was talking to Shakira today, and she was talking to me about her job. And she said before she was about to say, okay, God. She said, before I was about to say, okay, God, I don't know what to do from here. She said, as soon as she said, okay, God, she said a truck drove past her, and it said, in God we trust. And she said, at that moment, I realized that everything that's going on with me right now, God is going to take care of it.
Yeah.
And she said, Mama, I'm really trying to focus and get back into a place where I once was, but I know here and that. And I said, well, you're supposed to be in Colombia anyway. So we're going to leave that right there. I said, but it's okay. You go do what the Lord say do. God got you.
But I want to say this, Reagan. I'm going to be done. I'm not going to, unless you have other questions. But the word renewal keeps coming to my mind. And when you look at renewal, this is what the Lord spoke to me. When you look at renewal, it really means, or it really is saying, if you break it down, renew all. Renew all. He's getting ready to redo everything all over again.
Yes.
And I thought about that because when the Lord told me that when I woke up in the middle of the night, the Lord gave me that scripture, Genesis chapter 12, about Abraham leaving his country, leaving his family, and going to where the Lord told him to go. And I told my wife in the middle of the night that the Lord said it's time to go. Immediately, I told my wife, we're not taking nothing from Knoxville with us. We didn't come to South Carolina with nothing but our clothes. Everything else, I'm talking everything that's in our apartment. Look at this. She said, we ain't taking that. I took one thing, and that was my recliner chair. And the only reason why I took that chair was because that's the recliner I had to sleep in for 8 weeks when I had my quadruple heart bypass. And that's sentimental to me. That's my favorite chair. Everything else that's in our apartment is absolutely new, all the way down to the forks and the spoons that we eat off of. Because I told my wife, I said, I didn't want nothing that's attached to Knoxville to be in this new place with us. Because you got to understand something. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing or I want anybody to take it the wrong way, but spirits attach itself to things. That's why you got to be careful what you get from people and allow it to come into your house.
That's right.
So I said, okay, God. I said, so if you telling me that I can't bring nothing, I mean, even a microwave is new. Coffee machine, you know what I'm saying? We didn't bring, when we came in here, everything in this apartment Everything. And I'm telling you, no lie. Everything is brand new with the exception of that chair. So what's that? 99.99%. When I tell you, I said, okay, God, I got to be able to fill up this house.
Yeah.
I got kids. We went around to the stores that he told us to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was wanting to talk crazy. And we found one furniture store. And when I tell you that the Lord put everything in our house, I'm talking 3 complete bedroom suits, a complete living room suit, a complete dining room table with 6 chairs. I'm not talking no cheap stuff. Made this man give us our entire apartment for $4,500. And I ain't talking about no cheap stuff. The man kept deducting, giving us discounts, deducting, giving us discounts. Who can do 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, living room,
That's a bedroom suit.
all? You hear me? So when you look at everything that was almost $15,000 worth of stuff, you get it for $4,500. You can't tell me that God wasn't in it.
Right.
Because he said, renew all. I'm going to renew all. I'm going to redo and make everything new all over again. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of y'all, when y'all leave state, that you have a wedding renewal in it.
That's
It
me.
won't even be in Knoxville. No, we done did ours.
We doing our 30 years. He's saying no, but we're doing our 30 years. He owed me 30 years.
That's her hope and her prayer, but ain't nothing wrong with
Lord
it.
gonna
Well, y'all
answer
can
it.
come to my redo wedding with my new man.
We'll be there.
Hey, you listen. Hey, Ray,
Yeah.
be careful, because I'm telling you.
He coming though. I'm telling you, God keeps sending me dreams. I was like, he on his way. Like soon. I mean, I got released literally that he said, go out. Go out because he is in search of you right now. Go out now.
I'm telling you. I'm just saying. And you know what though? And here's the thing though. You hear people. I'm gonna say this to you. Be who you are, stay who you are, and stay confident in what God is telling you to speak. What you telling you to speak. Don't worry about folk, what they saying, because you're gonna have naysayers everywhere you go. You're gonna have people around you talk about, oh, she thinks she this and she thinks she that. That's all right. Wait till the Lord give them something else to talk about.
Listen, and he is.
And so, because the thing is this, it's not that God is not blessing you because you're trying to be bougie with what you got. You showing other people how to get to the promises of God. If we're supposed to be the head and not the tail,
right?
If we're supposed to be the lender and not the borrower, then why not rejoice in that?
Right.
So yeah, I keep those high hopes, because it's awakening some stuff into some promises in me that God said that we're supposed to have. Because see, the false, hear what I'm saying, y'all, and I'm done. The false mentality that was always taught to us under the traditional church sense is that you ain't supposed to have all of that because you're suffering for the Lord's sake. I'm at the point now. Listen, if your shoes running over, you talking about you suffering for the Lord's sake. You better go buy you some shoes. That we supposed to have the best. We're supposed to have the best. God wants us to have the best, and the only reason why we don't have the best is because we're allowing that mentality of traditionalism to control us.
I'm not.
And I'm not either. So you know what? I'm grateful. I'm thankful. Y'all tell people the first thing I did was, because you know what? I ain't never lived in a gated community. And I ain't bragging, but I'm boasting on God.
Me, I haven't either, Chris. When I got to go, I get a little remote control.
What you saying?
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, so hey, God is setting it up for his people. And this is the season for the faithful. This is the season for the faithful, those that are full of faith. This is your season. And there's nothing that the devil's going to be able to do to stop it. And that's one thing that the Lord encouraged me about. He said, what? Tell of my goodness. And then what he said? Tell them my goodness. Because guess what? With you telling the goodness of the Lord, you may inspire somebody else. But we have been taught to be fearful not to speak that way because it may be offensive. The
Offensive
devil is
to
one.
who? The devil.
Exactly. And
Let
that's
me
to him,
And you know
to
what?
him and him alone. So we are to speak of his goodness.
But I
So
told God, I told him a long time ago, after I said it, I was like, Lord, what did I say? I said, Lord, during this process, make me an example. I
mhm.
want to be an example. Like, show people through me what you can do.
Mhm.
And I'm talking about all hell broke loose after that. I was like, ooh, Lord, what'd I say? But
Mhm.
but he brought me through, you know what I'm saying? Because I had a lot of stuff that I had to deal with, but he brought me through. And so once I got here, I was like, Lord, this feels good. Like
Mhm.
I have everything I need, and I'm gonna keep saying this, I have everything I need, but not want. But if it feels good right now, what is it
So,
gonna be when
woo.
I really like come into air? Listen to me. Like I don't know if y'all experienced this, but when you got there, it was just like you can breathe. Like it was
Oh,
just
definitely.
like in Knoxville, I felt so suffocated. Like I got tired. It was just like I'm uncomfortable. Lord, get me out of here. And then when I
Mhm.
got here, it was just like, welcome home. Welcome home.
That's it. And here's the thing though, that I still ain't got used to this heat, this humidity. No, no, I ain't got there yet. So, but it like you said, it's a breath of fresh air. I mean, it's here, Reagan. We've done more here than we ever done in Knoxville. I'm talking about stuff we love to do, stuff that we like. We just left. We just left a concert. I like gospel music. We just left concert. Everything is within 30 to 45 minutes
Yeah.
away. You know, just it's just new. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like God is giving us the desires of our heart, but He's not through adding on to it.
It's just a preview of what's to come.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
you know.
preview.
So I tell you what, I'm listening to you though. I'm telling you, I've been listening. I'm hearing you about you talking about business. I said, so Reagan. Oh, I said Reagan dashing. I said, hold on for a second. Let me get out there.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you, going back to talking about dashing, because I know God brought that to me for a reason. But when I started it, when I get something and it works for me, I automatically want to tell and help people. That's my heart. Oh, this worked. Let me go tell the people.
Mm-hmm.
And the enemy was like, don't be telling people that, because people know you got this business and they
Mm-hmm.
think you all this and you all that and you up here dashing. What are you door dashing for? That's beneath you. And it really had me thinking like somebody gonna see me out here, because to be honest, people know, like some people do know me around and I don't know them. Like I might be Facebook friends with them or they kind of know me and they be like, oh, Reagan out here door dashing. What's she doing? She's supposed to have this, that, and the third. And I felt condemned, like, and then I was like, you know what? This ain't nothing but the devil. And when I shook that and I said, y'all, look, listen to me. Food costs had gone up and all this stuff. I was going on these trips and I was like, Lord, I'm finna pay this. He was like, let me show you something real quick. Because he had told me to stop operating in my business. So I really hadn't even done any business this year. But this was, I mean, it has opened up so many things for me, paying my bills, my trips, like extra stuff. And I enjoy driving. And also when I drive, I can just shut the car. That's how God talks to me in my car for the most part. So I can
Mm-hmm.
just drive and he download all day. So I'm like, I like doing this. And I can make money and it's low-key addictive. So I'm like, ooh, let me hit this. Like I told Rennie, oh, they just gave me $18 for this hot dog. I'm gonna be a little late tonight, okay? But
We were doing the same
man,
thing.
I was like,
I just
I said, stop dashing through, so you good.
right. And so when I said, you know what, devil, I'm not listening to you. I'm gonna go here and tell these people when you see me door dashing, don't say nothing. Right. And so somebody came on my post and said, "Oh, my sister, she was working part-time and made 40,000 last year." Or, this guy, he paid off all his debt. Or, so all these success stories started coming in. And then I had people in my inbox, and it made me almost cry, because I was like, look, I had one particular one that stood out, was a single mother. And I didn't even know she watched me, because she's not really engaged into my post. And she said, "I started door dashing because I saw what you said, and I was having a hard time paying for my child care. And so I made my daughter's child care for the week in one day." So what if I was scared to say, and I'm door dashing, right? She wouldn't have made any money. I had other people come to me, "Reagan, thank you so much. I've been able to get this extra money." And and people really look at like, "Oh my gosh, she door dashing." But you know what? I see older white women with Benzes and all kind of stuff out here door dashing. So it's not a look anymore. People are out here needing money, and it's something easy to do. Even if you don't need it and you want some extra money, it's easy work. It's easy.
Reagan, listen to this. When you were talking about it last week or so, before I started, because I just started doing it last week. Like I told you, I just did it for a couple hours last week, maybe 8 hours, made enough. And I'm doing what I said I'm going to do with it. Because see, the devil, that's why you got to pay attention to science. Because see, the devil will try to tempt you. You got to stick to it. If you're doing it for a specific reason, and what I like about it, you got that Dashes card. So I just go ahead and pay for these credit cards. But that's what I'm doing mine for. But I was on my job, my permanent job, the job that I have. I was at one of my clients, and one of the older guys came to me. He said, he looked at me and said, which one of them food delivery places you work for? I said, none of them. He said, you sure? He said, because I saw somebody deliver some stuff in my neighborhood that had on your company shirt and looked just like you. It was a black guy, looked just. I said, wasn't me. But I took it as a sign that God said, okay, you done heard Reagan talking about she done made $1,000 a week. Now this guy coming to you talking about, he done seen you now. If he saw me in the spirit, I don't know, but I took it as a sign. And you know what I did the next day? Got on my phone, put my little app in, and started dashing. Made enough to pay off one of the small credit cards. So there, I think Elder Serena said the best. The key is preparation. You moving in preparation is a sign of your faith saying, okay, God, I'm ready. And move in preparation. Start preparing. So little things, start preparing. And so, but for me, for us, I don't know how I'm keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm happy. Because see, when we moved here, I'm telling you, God kicked us out of Knoxville. I was pastoring.
Everybody that could have walked away.
I was pastoring 15 years. You hear me? And I mean, what was it last year? Last year I hurt my hands, and the people said I had severe carpal tunnel on my hands, so severe that they never seen it as bad as it was. The nerve detection study showed that my nerves was all just missing, so I had to have surgery. I mean, who gets a realtor's license in 3 months, go through online training, complete 90 hours worth of school work, then another 30 hours of certification work, take the test with an online proctor, pass the test, get signed on with Keller Williams, all within three months, just to sell the church. Then they tell you can keep the commission, and the church sells in 30 days, and people say, that church ain't gonna sell. Everybody thought that I was messed up. Everybody thought I was crazy. People thought I was mad.
They thought wasn't nothing wrong with his hands, but he had surgery. Ain't no doctor in their right mind gonna do no surgery on your hands if ain't nothing wrong with them.
My hands was messed up. We was away in Orlando for our wedding anniversary, and I couldn't even drive because my hands were so messed up. But at the same time, I'm saying all that to say this: people thought that I was angry with people, and I was committing adulteries, and I was caught in scandal, and I done lost the church, and people just walking away from us, and And I'm listening to all of this, and I'm saying in my mind, like, they have no clue. But God was showing me who to be solid with.
Yes,
Right.
it was. Yes,
So
yes.
through other people's actions, God will show you who to be solid with. But he'll also show you who to pray for. We reached out to you a couple times. Hey, this is what we're praying to do. We need you to pray. We didn't tell a whole lot of people. But everybody, so when we moved here, honestly, and I'm here to tell you, nobody reached out to us. Nobody. And God said, that's the way I wanted it. Because you said it earlier. Because they're going to take the credit if they had helped you.
That's a fact, Jack. You know what? To kind of insert, I had told one of my friends, if you watching, hey girl, but I'm not gonna call your name. But one of my close friends, she brought me my favorite Chick-fil-A for breakfast, and she said, "Now, Ray, all my friends call me Ray. Ray, you don't need to sell this house. You need to get up here and you need to do X, Y, and Z." And I just feel like God told me to tell you that, and my spirit was so like this, and I was like, my time in Knoxville is up. Like, I'm not staying. I'm not like, and I'm stubborn anyway. So once I already got like a doggone it, I'm just like, I'm not, like, my time is up. And so she was just like, I just don't understand why anybody wouldn't want to leave why anybody wants to leave Knoxville. And I was like, what?
You got time for me to take it?
All right. And here it is, I do events and I do relationship events. So I'm going to be shuffling the same 20 people? No, I can't do that. And so she was like, well, okay. So she ended up leaving. A few hours later, she sends me an application for Habitat for Humanity to apply for housing in Knoxville.
I'm telling you. No substitutions. This is what it is.
What?
Because when people know you on that type of level, they won't believe. And what I've learned, literally.
No, the truth of the matter is, go ahead and tell it like it is. The truth of the matter is this. And it's genuine love, and it's okay.
Yeah.
But that was genuinely being selfish because I wanted you with me. Yeah. It's not a bad thing. That wasn't somebody that's being hard or mean against you. Know what I mean? And that's why people don't, like my mother told me that. She said, you know what? I don't want my son to move. I don't want you to move, but you got to go. So, people is going to be genuinely selfish because they need you in a capacity. Don't mean that's wrong. But at the same time, what if you would have looked at her in compassion and said, you know what? You're right. I'm going to stay for
And then 3 months later, she get up and leave.
I'm going to stay for another year. And then you go against what God said. You delaying your own blessing.
I look at it as when those people wants you to stay, but then when they get an opportunity to go, they're not going to listen to you. They're going to go because that people don't want, and I'm going to say this, people don't want you to get ahead of them when they feel like you're not in that place to do that. You don't deserve the goodness of the Lord. You don't deserve the favor of the Lord. You don't deserve to be happy. You deserve to be right here with me because I'm miserable and I want you to be miserable. I ain't got a life and I don't want you to have a life. The devil is a lie.
But that's not
necessary. I didn't know. I ain't saying that it's true. I ain't saying that it's true.
But I'm
just saying there's 75% of the people in this world that are connected to you want you to stay stuck on stupid because they ain't got nothing else going on with their life. And you, I'm just saying.
Thank you.
But it's true to an extent.
Thank you. As I was saying I wasn't saying it in that manner. I was saying that there's people who genuinely love you and want what's good for you. But sometimes we'll be selfish because of a bond that they have with you. And what I'm saying is that is okay. But even in that, you can't let that sway you from doing what God said. You understand what I'm saying?
She said, they be like that though.
Those people like that shouldn't even play a factor into anything that you want to do. I mean, they should just run off you like a water on a duck's back. But I'm talking about because it is difficult when you're transitioning from one state to another state that's going to affect relationships, because it's difficult. Like, I got my best friend. He's my best friend. He called me his best friend. We're friends. We're best friends. I believe that. Apostle Flanders, they live in Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. Well, they was only an hour away or so, and we always did things together. Anytime you saw one, you saw the other. We was always taking spontaneous trips. We was always doing everything together. And when we decided to leave Knoxville, there was a support in that, but then you also know there was on both sides like hesitate, like, oh man, dang, what's going to happen to us? What about us? So you're going to have those kind of moments that you have to also overcome and wade through to do what's best for you, because that's why I got this shirt. Y'all see that? I'm going to bring this back out. You're going to be able to get you one. I got some stuff coming. I'm telling y'all. Listen, oh yeah, Reagan, I'm starting some businesses. LLCs will coming real soon. Okay. But I said, I had this shirt printed up and sold this shirt a couple of years ago because this is the season of me. I love you. I love you. I love what we do. I love what we have. But it's when you have poured out so much to other people for other people to be successful and other people to grow and other people, right, it depletes you. And so when God finally gives you the opportunity to do what builds you, then you got to have faith enough to step out and say, hey, I got to do what's best for me at this moment. And so when I say God kicked us out of Knoxville, no, Divine Worship I did not sell the church because we went in debt. I did not sell the church. We didn't go in foreclosure. No, it was a choice. And so that's what's making all of this good for us now. And we're happy because everything that we did to get here was a choice. It wasn't something that was taken from us. It wasn't something that we was forced into doing. Well, it was forced by God, but it was a choice. We chose to sell the church. I mean, why do we need a 300-seat church and all we have now is 5 members and 4 of those are family? You understand what I'm saying? So God said, no, sell the church. We did that. We obeyed him and it worked. And so all I can say is this to those who talking about, I have to stand on this from a prophetic side, from a prophetic point of view. And you can say what you want to. And I'm not saying I'm great or somebody great. That's not what I'm saying. But I know my integrity when it comes down to ministry and when it comes down to people. I know my integrity with God. And if God start forcing faithful people out of a city, all I'm saying is you better watch it, because that's warning signs. Something is coming to that city. Something is coming. And I don't want to be like the woman that was Lot's wife that was turned into a pillar of salt because she kept looking back. I ain't looking back.
Let me tell you this. Speaking of which, when the God made, when I had 1 week there, I had 1 week left. And I did not want to move in with my mama. I was just like, oh God, no, not that my mama, my mama cool, but it's just like, no, I don't want to go. She's married and they got this family. And I'm like, I'm on the couch. So I wasn't sleeping well. I'm uncomfortable. Then I had to go into a job I hated 1 day a week. I was just like, get me out of here. And it was just so much pressure and so much being uncomfortable. And I was like, Lord, get me out of here. He said, I need you to feel this. So when I tell you to drop this job, you're not going to hesitate. When I tell you to leave and not come back, you're not going to hesitate. And so he was like, I don't need, when a lot of people Reagan, you crazy for selling your house, but I can't tell you what was prophesied over me, but he said, like you said before, don't bring anything don't have no ties to Knoxville. I was so angry when Boo came back home. Boo had enough money to get his own furniture. when he moved to his apartment. But you know what? Because he was so mad at me for divorcing him, he took everything. And I was like, Lord, why would he do this? Like, this don't make no sense. He said, let him take it because I'm getting ready to replace everything. And so what happened the next day, like this was during COVID time. So, you know, furniture was far and in between, and it took forever. But guess what? My house was furnished. After he took everything, he thought he was doing something. Honey, my stuff got delivered in 2 days.
Look at that.
2 days. And he was looking like, oh, so you, and that was the thing, like, even when it was time for me to move, he was just like, you need to make sure that everything is really like new. So everything I have, I got it after he left, and then I have some new things.
No time.
Anything like I'm telling you, throw it away. Every time I would touch something, Lord, do I keep throw it away? Throw it away, give it away, throw it away, throw it away. No, and it was crazy because I was looking through pictures yesterday, and I started to post this on Facebook of some of our engagement pictures, which those pictures are really cute of me. So I was like, Lord, what do I do? He said, throw them away. No, what are you keeping them for? You're not married. He's passed away. What are you keeping? Throw them away. Throw them away.
And you know what, Reagan? And I'm gonna say this, and then if you have anything else, that's fine. But
wait. The pillar of salt. I didn't tie that in. When I got to church last Sunday, that's what he was preaching about. Okay. Don't look back. The pillar of salt. Go ahead.
But even with that, that's what I was getting ready to say. You know, since we moved here in March, we made maybe 3 trips back to Knoxville. And every time I go back to Knoxville now, I get severely sick.
That's true.
I'm talking severely sick. This last time, it was such, and I'm noticing now, this is what God has shown me, is spiritual attacks.
Yeah.
Because this last time I went back to Knoxville on Mother's Day, I couldn't even spend Mother's Day with my mom and them, and ended up having to leave. We was gonna go to church on that Sunday, and I told my wife, I said, baby, I need to get back. I couldn't even. It started going, but when I got to Knoxville, it just messed me up. I came back and I was hospitalized for 7 days. Almost 8 days. I was having fevers that would not even break, to the point to where it was so bad it messed with my bypasses and stuff, my heart and everything. My 2 of the arteries started reclogging. I mean, it's like the devil was trying to take me out. And when they admitted me into the hospital, and I was laying on the bed, and I promise you it was about maybe 11:30 at night, maybe about almost midnight. And I saw some spirits in the room looking at me, laughing with bulging eyes. And I called Serena and said, baby, I said, I can't go to sleep. I said, because if I go to sleep, the devil going to take me out of here. I had to stay up all night. I told her what was going on, and she came out there at first. I said, I can't go to sleep till you get here to pray for me. I said, because if I close my eyes, the devil going to take me out of here. I said, because there's some spirits in this room. And I told her what to bring. I said, bring my oil, bring my Bible. And I told her, I said, because when you get here, the first thing you have to do is you have to anoint my head, you have to anoint my feet, you have to anoint my hands, and we're going to anoint this room. And when she came and she anointed me that morning, I was up all night and I slept, but they could not find out why I was having fevers. It would get up to 103, 104. And I had to take Tylenol every 2 hours for it to break. And I'm like, God, I can't take Tylenol for the rest of my life. I said, that stuff can kill you.
Yeah.
And to the point to where they brought in the infectious disease department, the CDC. I had 80 tests, and I still have the records. 80 tests. 80 different types of tests. I got blood that's still in the lab right now. They said it's still cooking because they're trying to find out what's going on. 80 tests and everything come up negative. They test me for COVID, monkeypox, syphilis. Listen, I'm not lying. Because it confounded them because they did not know why I was having all these fevers. They didn't know. But we knew it was a spiritual attack.
And I brought that Bible up and laid that Bible on him and got to praying.
And I told God, I said, God, I can't look back. I can't
Now,
look
I
back.
don't think and that's the crazy thing. I told my homegirl yesterday, I said, I don't have a desire to go back. Like,
Mm-mm.
it's like, what are you going back? There's nothing back there. Like, even with my mom, I'm like, Mom, you have to come hop on the flight because I just don't see it. I don't
Yeah.
see, there's nothing there for me.
I'm just saying, like I said, I told mom, I even tried to talk to my mom.
Yeah, what I did, I tried to
I
get
told
her
my
to
mom,
come down.
y'all need to come on and move on up here where we are. They're like, I ain't. But at the same time, like I said, it's decisions can be hard,
Yeah.
and especially when you're used to it and it's familiar for you. And sometimes the unknown can be fearful. But if you know God, and I'm talking to y'all, if y'all know God like you say you know God, then you know He'll never leave you nor to forsake you. He'll make a way out of no way and to
Right.
make sure that you're taken care of. And it is impossible for you to put your faith in God's hands and God not take care of you. That is impossible. Even when we have somewhat of a doubt, God knows how to come in and shift our doubt around, because there were some times we doubted. There were some
Yeah.
times that I said, you know what? Well, maybe we ain't supposed to. Then I had to recover quickly and shake that thought out of my head. No, this is what God said. This is what we're going to do. So there's going to be moments where you're going to have to recover quickly. You're going to have some things that cross your mind,
Right.
some woulda, shoulda, couldas, but you're going to have to recover quickly. You're going to have to shake that dust from your feet and get back to the place of knowing that God said that He will take care of you.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know what? You'll find yourself at a twilight moment. Twilight is that dark time, that darkest time between the breaking of day and dawn. And that's when there's no stars shining, the sun ain't shining, nor the moon. There's no light. For a moment, it's just twilight, complete darkness, complete silence. And sometimes the darkest hour is just before the breaking of day. And so you're going to have a moment to where it's going to look rough. That's going to almost make you change your testimony. But don't let those rough spots change your testimony. Don't let those rough spots change your conviction, and your confession. If you said it, stick to it.
Right.
No matter how hard it get. If you saying it, stick to it, because your words are going to be tested. The devil going to test your words. He tested mine through sickness. He tested mine through sickness. I said it one time. Me and my wife got into an argument while we was here. Yeah, we married. We married people, y'all. Don't let them Christian folks make y'all think that they happy go lucky all the time. Because they ain't. They in their house fighting like cats and dogs, throwing sticks at each other and coming out preaching land. But I said it. I said, and this is when we first moved here, and something was going on. I don't remember what it was, but I remember I said, I knew I should have never moved here. Boy, when I tell you God whipped me and tore me up, you hear me? And it's like, he was like, don't you ever say it again. All we do with our children. And I had to repent for that. I had to repent for that, because your flesh, you're going to have moments, but you cannot be scared of the unfamiliar.
What?
It's
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
not saying you just can't be scared of the unfamiliar.
One thing I know that he dropped in my spirit is the other day is I'm not going to embarrass you. Like,
Oh
if
no.
you followed me and I'm not going to embarrass you, because guess what? All those people that are watching and the ones who had something to say, like, that's why we got to keep our mouth off our enemies, because they got to be around to see you get blessed. They
Mm-hmm.
have, and that's how he's going to exalt you in front of them.
What was your table
Everybody
prepared?
the move wasn't right. Oh, okay. Hold tight. Let me show you something real quick. They weren't supposed to move. Okay, let me show you something real quick.
Where was your table prepared?
In the presence of my enemies. Psalm 23.
I got plugged this up. Keep talking.
All right. Well, Reagan, the thing about it is, again, God will move you out of a place where He feels like you've done everything that you possibly can do. There's nothing else. Okay. All right, Holy Spirit. Listen, my husband, and I don't just say this because he's my husband, but I have watched him do ministry from the day we got married. And he has poured out to so many people, teaching the word, preaching the word, laying hands, healing, babysitting, changing tires late in the midnight hour, going to other married couples' homes and sitting and praying and helping them. He has done so much. And I literally said to him, there's nothing else that you can give here.
Right.
There's nothing. You have given everything that God has told you to give. And when you get to the point to where now and I'm not throwing shade, but I'm bringing truth to the light. Okay. So when I say this, it's not to belittle or degrade any of that. But when you have leaders now that feel like they got to compete against you, or they now got to manipulate the people that are connected to you, and then or cause them to move out of that place, they were never there for the right reason anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not saying that to be rude or disrespectful. I'm saying that whatever your situation is, whatever reason that God is moving you, it's going to be for your greater, because God brings growth. He doesn't allow you to stay stagnated. He doesn't allow you to stay stuck. He doesn't allow you to stay in a hole. He don't allow you to stay in a box or in a house or in a building. It's going to be growth, especially if you are with a company that has the growth that you need to grow. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like Pepsi or Coca-Cola or places like that are all over the world. If they're looking for a CEO somewhere in the corporate business and they need somebody to fill that spot and your name's been sitting on somebody's desk, God is going to allow your name to be picked and favor is going to set on you. And because why? You've been praying for growth. So what we praying for, what's being prayed for is the growth that needs to take place. And yes, you have to literally, you just gotta put your faith, your belief, prayer, encouragement, your family, and you put all that under the umbrella of God, and you watch God move you and elevate you to a place that he feels that you feel as well deserved in having it. Amen. So then you have to ask yourself, Lord, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? Give me the direction. Show me, and I'll follow you.
That's it.
In every aspect of your life. Period.
But I believe, and I'm just gonna say this because I'm sleeping. I'm sleeping.
Listen, you ain't by yourself. I just looked at Serena. I said, "Time to go to bed."
Yeah,
yeah, it really is. And I'm an hour behind y'all. And I'm just like, I'm sleepy. But what I wanted to say is, just to end it, what you said, Serena, about you've done all you can do. I know I've done all I can do in Knoxville. I host events. And if I want to empower the Black community there is very small. And some are unresponsive for the most part. And I didn't even start my company, my business in Knoxville because I knew I would not get the support that I needed. But once I did get some, God said, this was just training ground. Everything that you have done here is training ground for what is to come next. And so I believe that for you guys, y'all are solid. Like I tell you all the time, I don't make any bones about it. I don't fool with my daddy's side of the family, but I fool with these two. I do. And I'm grateful for you guys. And, if Chris says something, what God said, you can take it to the bank and cash it. You can take it to the bank and cash it. Rennie has been there from day one with and I'm talking about always answers the phone. If she doesn't, she called me, she called me right back. So they have been along, with my journey. So I trust them. They are good people. Reagan, thank you so much for being obedient and doing this live. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some other lives with people who are actually leaving too, but I'm not released to say but you'll be seeing them. So keep your eyes on Facebook. Like Chris said, that, when people start leaving and God is calling them out, you just got to start paying attention. And there are several, and these are important people in Knoxville that are leaving.
It's
So
people in ministry
people in ministry, and they carry the prophetic gift. That's yeah. So I don't know, but I know, but I don't know. And so listen, if God, like we've said over and over and over, their story, Chris and Renee's story, is very important for married couples or people just in general. I felt like it needed to be heard because there's some things I don't feel comfortable answering because I don't want to pow from God. Okay. And so I always want to operate in wisdom and knowledge and being obedient what God says. So do you guys have anything else you want to say before we both fall out into the floor?
All I'm going to say is this. Listen, you all. It's not easy to obey God. It'll never be easy to obey God. It's not meant to be easy to obey God. But the moment you obey God and you see how God worked for you, then guess what? It ain't no more an issue because you already expected some stuff to come with some stuff. So, hey, strong man, listen, thief can't rob a house unless he first what? Bind the strong man.
Yeah.
So if you expect the devil, you already prepared for him. So just trust him. Take a leap. Jump. Get out.
And
Move.
you heard him say, we happy. We happy.
I'm happy.
We are happy. I am happy.
Well,
the only thing I want to say
guys.
is thank y'all for having me. Thank you for having me on.
Camera right there.
Oh, I am looking at her over there.
I'm like,
She's like that.
Man, I was like, I'm looking at you.
The camera's right there.
Right, I know the camera's there. I was looking at her. But I thank you, Reagan. Listen, I thank God for you, and I thank you for giving Bishop and I an opportunity to speak to some people, because sometimes our testimony is to be a light of the world.
That's it.
So anytime that you do anything, it's going to be some hardship. It's going to be some pitfalls. But don't fall and stay down in those pitfalls. God is right there to guide you. So because you may fall, then because something may go wrong, it doesn't mean that it's not God. It doesn't mean that at all. It means that it is God, and then He's just bringing you to something different. He's bringing you to something new because He wants you to depend on Him. So I just thank God. We're happy. I'm happy. Jacob's happy. Yeah, you're happy.
For kind of, so she's trying to figure it out, but that's a whole nother situation.
Y'all come on over here where the happiness is.
All right. Don't you want to be happy with a better marriage? And then the single people, more single men. Listen, it's so many single men. That's a whole nother live, okay? All right. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us. And I wanted to plug Chris really quick. Side note, I had a dream for y'all. Some of y'all who don't know, I'm a dreamer. I had a dream the other night, or when I first.
I thought you said you had a drink for us. I said, what?
No, I don't drink.
I know you don't. That's why I was like, what?
No, but I had a dream the first night. I spent the night in my apartment, and I was dreaming of all this crazy stuff, and I could not decipher what was going on. So I got up and I prayed because it kind of shook me up, and I called Chris, and God told me to call him and have him give me some anointing oil, because I forgot to get it from my church before I left, and I was gonna get some from my homegirl, and I forgot. And so I was like, well, I'll just call my homegirl. And he was like, no, contact Chris and Renee and get the oil. And so me not knowing, I was just like, well, let me just call them. And lo and behold, they are doing oil. They are giving it out. And so, Chris, if you could plug that for people who need some anointing oil.
Yeah, I will. I told when Reagan did it, I told her there was a confirmation. I don't know. I'm telling y'all, God is sending confirmations left and right. We just got to pay attention to the signs. And so I told her, I said that when she said that, I told her, I said my wife and I had already talked about doing that as part of the ministry. I said, because we want to make sure that we stay connected with people and people get what they need, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I said, so I guess you'd be the first recipient. Oh, and by the way, Reagan, so what, charge for my head, but not my heart. A little slowfulness kind of stepped in a little bit. But I did ship that out to you in the mail on yesterday. So you should be getting it.
Yay!
But so yeah, if you want some anointing oil, and listen, I believe in oil. I believe in anointing oil. I believe in laying hands and praying for sickness and driving out. Listen to this, y'all. There's a difference between evil spirits and unwanted spirits. Okay, so there's a difference. But I believe in oil to drive away unwanted spirits and demonic spirits. And so the dream that Reagan was telling me, the Lord showed me that, yeah, you need to cleanse your house. So I'm putting together a package, and it's not for sale. We're not charging. The Lord has told me to do this as part of the ministry. So anybody that wants anointing oil, we are sending out bottles of oil that we have prayed for, that we have consecrated. And this oil, literally, we let it set on a Bible for about 7 to 9 days, and we prayed over it. And we consecrated it. And so if you want some, you can go to my website. And I believe, I'm posting a link right now, Reagan, to your website. So if anybody wants some oil, you do have to go to my website to get it. And basically all it is just asking for your name and your address. And we do shipments on Wednesdays and Saturdays is when we ship it out. So I don't ask for no posting, nothing like that. But what I do ask, if anybody want to donate, you'll be able to donate to our ministry through our Cash App, and that just kind of help us to continue to give out the oil. But if you don't have anything to donate, oh well, we're still going to send it to you. And also in this package, I'm putting a prayer in there for you to be able to cleanse your house. It's a prayer that goes from A to Z about cleansing your house. So there's 2 prayers in there that you can read off, that you can do. So there's instructions for you to follow. And I'm telling you, you will sleep better. So if you want it, I did put my Cash App in. I mean, not my Cash App. I did put my website in the comments. You can click that, go to my website, and you'll be able to fill it out. And I get the order, ship it right out there to you. Absolutely free.
And they have some other things coming up too. But I don't think we can talk about it yet, but it's coming. And I'm excited about that one. Because I'm helping with it.
Right. God is doing something great, and so y'all just keep praying for us. Obedience will cost you, but obedience will bless you.
Yep, that's good. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. And guys, thank you for joining us. And those who are catching the replay, I will be on sometime tomorrow. I believe I'm supposed to be obedient and do a video a day. I ain't been doing that great, but I appreciate you guys joining me, and those who it helps. I'm glad. Married couples, if you have any more questions, I'm going to have you go over to Sister Holloway and Brother Holloway. I cannot help you in the marriage department yet.
Right.
Yet. But it's coming. So anyway, you guys have a great night. This is Reagan Adams with All Things Reagan, and Reagan says, I think it, I see it, I do it. Bye.